Hello, you've made it. If you're here for if your future self is here rewatching this, or your present self, if you're here for 6 skills to help you manage change for the February, how is it February already? I don't know. Learning and Development Roundtable, you are in the right place. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just delighted that you're here. Welcome, Oksana. And by the way, if I say your name wrong, please feel free to DM me or put a message. Just let me know. So you belong here. You made it. I'm just delighted. Thank you so much. My name is Leanne Reagan, and today we're experimenting with an 1.5-hour roundtable. So I'm going to dive right in relatively quickly to the, we've got more people coming in, and I dive in quickly to the content, or shortly rather. But in the meantime, if this is the first time that we have had the pleasure of, I've had the pleasure of working with you, know that I tend to work in 3 areas. So I do lots of work with teams in terms of working better together, focus on culture and change like we're doing today. And conflict resolution, intercultural issues, things like that. I also do a lot of digital engagement, so helping teams with tech tools for ease and efficiency. And I also work with subject matter experts who need to learn how to design and deliver really powerful learning. So that's a little bit about me. I'd love to know a little bit about you. So first off, put in the chat, where are you? Where in the world does this find you? So where in the world does this find you? Hi, Raj. Hi, Carlos. Panama. Hey, Raymond's in Nairobi. Annika is in Vienna. Raj. Hey, Raj is in Vancouver. Oh, my hometown. Mary Jo's in Switzerland. Maria is in, oh, it's going so fast here. So great. New York. Irene is, oh, Malindi. Oh, for people who don't know, Malindi is a beautiful place on the coast. Oh, it's so nice there. Hey, Malcolm. Nice to see you here. Ruth is in Nairobi. Grace, Geneva. We've got some more Geneva. Chiara is in Valencia, Spain. Anna's also in Spain. Anja's in Geneva. Lima, Maine. Oh, hey, Jal. Oh, nice to see you. Is Vancouver. Yes, talking about the territories. That's great. Tunisia, Samia's in Tunisia. Austria. Cote d'Ivoire, on a card directed to the field. That was so special. Welcome to you. That's dedication. Thank you. And Ellie is in Kinshasa. Welcome. Marlon is just coming in. So I would love to also know, hi, Paulina. Hey, Paulina from Nairobi, or in Nairobi rather. And Charity's an imam. Welcome. Okay, so I asked you in the prep work, and if your blood pressure has just gone up and you think, oh, I didn't do anything, don't worry. But if you were able to get a chance to think about something that you're trying to affect change around, some kind of maybe social issue, you're trying to affect some social change, or maybe it's a personal change, put that example in the chat. Share as you wish, as much or as little as you wish. And as you share an example, I'm going to annotate the screen. I'm going to make some marks on the screen and see if you can figure out why I'm putting some marks in these different columns and what these things stand for. So what's something that you want to change? Why did you sign up for this workshop? What kind of change do you have in mind? So let me know. And if you're like, oh, Leanne, I have something I want to change, but I don't want to share it with the group, you can always DM me and I won't say that out loud. So let me know in the chat. What is something that you're wanting to change? Hi, Rosaline, welcome. Okay, Maria, I'd like to make a change in your career. Oh, that's an interesting one. Okay, so let me just bring up the, so career, I'm gonna put that here. Okay, and Rajan is just coming in. Annika is saying, my attitude to change. I usually was very excited by change. And since the start of the pandemic, I feel I'm starting to be afraid of it or annoyed by it. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. Anyone else? Why? There's millions of things you could have been doing. You decided to take time and spend time in this change workshop. So someone's DM me. Okay, that's a good one. So I'm going to put a mark here. Alice is saying, helping change gender and power dynamics and increase inclusion and diversity, particularly in the professional environment. Okay, I'm going to put that here. Great. Someone else is talking about, I'm going to put that one there. So if you're watching this in the future, or if you've just come in, if I don't mention the change, it's because a few people are DMing me, they're direct messaging me, and I'm respecting their privacy and I won't read that example out. Okay, Marianne is saying change. Hang on here. Change apartments. Oh, I'm tired of this one now, given the amount of time I spent in it during the COVID pandemic. Oh, okay. I hear you. Yeah, that's a big one. And encouragement from Raymond. Great. Okay. And someone else has DM'd me. I'm going to put that one here. Charity is saying, I'd like to contribute to changing my team culture. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm going to put a mark there for that one. And Borislav is saying, encourage the team to embrace new changes to work. Oh, so lots of stuff around team. Okay, I'll put that one here. Another DM. Okay. So I'm going to put that one there. Needy saying, change the norms of impact measurement. Oh, good one. Really good one. And Ranjan saying, people are change agents and would like to encourage people and increase self-esteem. Okay, I'm going to put that one here and maybe over here too. Okay, great. Those are all really good examples. I'm going to take a screen grab of this and we'll come back to this in a little bit later. But in the meantime, and sorry, Ellie is saying organizational culture. Ooh, maybe that one and maybe that one too. Actually, that can go under a bunch of different ones. Oh, and I'm having two other DMs. Okay, great. I'll put that one there. And the last DM, okay, I'm going to put that one here. Okay, lovely. Those are terrific examples. So we're going to come back to that in a moment. But for a moment, if you haven't already, I encourage you to think about something that you're trying to change, something you want to work on. It might be something personal or professional or a combination. So think about that, because I really want this to be a very practical workshop for you and for you to be able to apply the things that we'll be talking about. Okay, so a couple of quick things. Thank you for letting me know where you are in the world and for sharing some examples. Oh, hang on, let me just let me erase the screen here. That's what happens when you don't erase the screen. Okay. Okay, so you asked, and so at the last roundtable, I asked people about whether they were interested in having a LinkedIn group. So I made one. I wanted to get it done before this roundtable, so I made one. And just so you know, I put the link in the chat. And if you choose to sign up, so based on last month's roundtable, which was on learning plans, most people for their professional time, and most people in this group at any rate, are spending their time in LinkedIn. So I asked folks if they wanted to have a LinkedIn group. So I made one for you. So that's a way to kind of keep in touch in between our monthly roundtables. And just as a little bit of an incentive, if you do sign up to become a member, like if you are on LinkedIn and you join that particular group, I'm very happy to gift you free access to my Ban Boring Online Meetings course. So if you are interested, go ahead. I just made it, so it's brand new. Hey, oh, thank you. That's great. You probably the first one because I just made it. Oh, that's so great. Thanks, Helen. Okay, so yeah, it's such a great community here that I thought I was trying to think of ways to kind of keep in touch in between. And we do have a Facebook group, but I think more people are on LinkedIn than in Facebook there. So, okay, so you did the hard work of showing up, and just a couple of gentle encouragements in order to get the most out of your time here. Please participate. Feel free to ask questions and comments. There's so much wisdom in the group. So at any time, ask a question in the chat or offer your own experience and wisdom. If you are not a member of the roundtable, feel free to join and you'll get access. I'll talk more about this just before the break, but that's about how, when you're a member of the roundtable, that's how you get access to all of the resources, so the recordings, etc. We're experimenting this roundtable. Normally they've been 2 hours, and this month I'm making them an hour and a half. So we'll have a quick poll at the very end of our time together to see how you like that. Do you want to go back to 2 hours, or do you like the hour and a half? And also every month I announce a winner based on people that gave me feedback. I'll give you the link to the feedback sheet, the middle at the end of the workshop. So I really want to show my gratitude for people that take the time to give feedback for these workshops. So people that do that get entered to win. And I will announce this month's winner who gave feedback last month and who won the free Ban Boring Online Meetings. Okay. And then also, I always like to encourage you to what I call curate your learning. So I switch up a couple of different tools, and this month it's my HARP tool. So I put the link in the chat, the link to become a member, and the link to this worksheet. If you want to use this to help you remember what you're learning, feel free. Once you download it, you have to download it first. You can curate your learning. It becomes editable. And also for UN staff who want to count this towards your UN mandated training, the link to the attendance sheet is there too. Okay, so let's head into our roadmap. So today we are going to talk about 2 methods for figuring out the best way to focus on change. We're going to identify different types of change. We're going to identify your change personality. You're going to discover your RQ. And 2 tools, I think they're so simple. They're kind of elegant in their simplicity. So hopefully those will be new for you and a bit of a surprise. And then you'll be able to come away with given that hopefully you have something in mind that you're trying to change, you'll be able to have a customized action plan for that. And again, if you are a UN staff, you can apply this to your UN mandated training. And if you're not a UN staff and you're like, what is she talking about? Everyone's welcome, whether you're UN staff or not. Okay, and by the way, speaking of feedback, the feedback that I got from last month about what people wanted this month included how to change your mindset, which is actually the focus of March's roundtable. So I'll tell you more about that before the break. And someone wanted to know best practices in considering managing and implementing change. So I design the workshops based around the feedback I get. So another reason to give me feedback. Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Ready to dive in for the first thing? Give me a thumbs up. And let me know. Okay, great. Got some thumbs up there. Awesome. Okay, so here is one really easy, insightful method for figuring out the best way to focus on change. And this is the social change cycle. So let me know in the chat. Has anyone seen this before? Is this new for anyone, or have you seen this? Let me know in the chat. Hi to the person who's DMing me. That's great. So it's new for folks. Okay. So I love this piece of work because change is like this big, hairy monster to a lot of people, and it can be very overwhelming very, very quickly. So this particular social change cycle focuses on 4 things. And you might remember from the beginning when I asked you to give me examples of change, and there was a lot of ATs, and I think a lot of Is as well. And what those things stand for are attitude, awareness, behavior, and impact. So with the particular example that you're thinking about, really try to think about, are you trying to look at change, like changing an attitude? Are you trying to increase awareness? Are you trying to change a behavior? And I'm just going to mute you there, but if you do have a question, just let me know. So folks, just keep yourselves on mute, just in terms of background noise. But if you do have a question, let me know. So I find this tool elegant and simple to help me kind of focus on what kind of area of change I'm looking at. And by the way, sometimes it's one, sometimes it's three, sometimes it's all four. So those are the things that that where I was marking things down from your examples at the beginning. Raymond's saying, oh, no worries, Raymond, his internet's unstable. I trust that the internet will, I trust that people are doing the best that they can. Yeah, so again, when you're thinking about your change, whatever thing that you're trying to change, you're trying to affect, think about, am I trying to change someone's attitude, including my own? Am I trying to raise awareness? Am I trying to influence behavior? Or am I trying to achieve impact? Katerina's saying I might not. Oh, Katerina's asking about the recording. Yeah, so if, yes, so the roundtables are recorded both audio and visual, and they're time-stamped, meaning you can fast forward to the parts that you want to get to right away, but they're only available to members. So if someone can just go back in the chat and put that membership link in, I would really appreciate it. So as long as you're a member, I try to get everything out on Monday. So you get a workbook, audio recording, video recording. Yeah. You're welcome, Katerina. Okay, so yeah, so any comments on this social change cycle? Thank you, Helen. That's so helpful. It's pretty simple, right? It's a way of really kind of focusing because our change efforts really differ if we're trying to influence an attitude. So attitudes are often, by the way, around vision and values and motivation. Awareness is often about information. So, facts and figures and reports and things like that. Behavior, that's pretty self-explanatory. And impact, that's a tough one, right? So that's a combination of all of them. Okay, so that's the first one. Comments, questions, let me know in the chat. Okay, and I should say also, folks get a copy of the PowerPoint deck as well. The members do. And just saying, if you want to focus on adapting to change, or relevant, right? Oh, so it kind of depends on the change, Anja. So I would say, certainly if you're looking at impact, you probably need all three of those things. If you're trying to, I don't know, the examples coming to mind, something with your 2-year-old, right? If you're trying to get your 2-year-old to put their pajamas on, it's probably attitude, probably motivating them to put their pajamas on. So it really depends on what the change effort is about. Certainly, if you're looking at impact, if you're trying to create impact and you're only focusing, for example, on awareness, you're probably not going to achieve impact because impact is a combination of all of them. Let me know if that makes sense. Ellie's saying it has to be driven at 3 levels. Individual. Oh, you're ahead of the group. Yeah, perfect point. Raj is saying, love the aspect of awareness to focus the conversation. Yeah. And some people, you will probably be drawn more to one than the other. So you may be drawn more to vision and values, and motivation. So how we're feeling, like the attitude piece. Some others might be more drawn to the awareness. I want to do focus groups and I want to research and I want to look up those facts and get statistics. And so we want to make sure that depending on the change you're trying to affect, that you're focusing in the right area there. Okay. So is it okay to go on to the next really easy, insightful tool? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Unless you have any other questions, we move on to the next tool. Okay, great. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to invite you to try to get me to stand up. So in the chat, or you can quickly unmute and say something, but your goal here is to try to get me to stand up. So as you do that, I'm going to also annotate the screen here. So your goal is try to get me to stand up. So what would you say to me in the chat, or you can unmute to get me to stand up? So someone's saying, is there a spider behind me? There's a mouse behind me. Okay. Oh, so Ellie's saying simply stand up. Okay. Silver's saying bug. Silver, it's so nice to see you here. Malcolm saying, oh, do you want to go for a coffee? Ooh, oh, I'm going to put that one in the middle. That's a good one. And Giles saying, stand up if you believe in justice. Okay, that's it. I've never had that one. That's good, Giles. Your curtain is on fire, says Katerina. Okay. Anna saying, if I stand up, I would make everyone smile. Mary Jo is saying, I'll stand up. Can you please stand up too, Leanne? We would hear you much better. Oh, that's kind of a blend. I'm going to put them both there. Thanks, Mary Jo. Morris is saying, open the door. Someone is knocking. Okay. So I should normally respond to these. So I would say, the curtain's on fire. I actually don't have curtains in here, so it must be somewhere else. Anna's saying, if I stand up, it'd make us all smile. I can't actually see if you're smiling, so hopefully you're already smiling because people don't have their cameras on right now. Mary Jo is saying that you would hear me better if I stand up. Actually, I think you'd hear me worse because my mouth would be further away from the speaker. Morris is saying, open the door, someone's knocking. So I'll let someone else get that because my attention is all for you right now. Ruth is saying, get the door. I don't hear anyone knocking. Dan saying, good morning. What might make you hesitate to stand up at the moment? Oh, Dan, that hardly anyone ever says that. That's great. Remember that one. We're going to come back to that one. Rika saying the house is on fire. I don't smell any smoke, and we have smoke alarms. I don't hear them. Paulina, surprise, your kids arrived and waiting outside. Okay, well, I'm committed to you folks. So if they are truly here from Canada, they're going to have to wait. Alice, standing up every half hour is good for blood flow. It is. So we will be having a short break, and I'm happy to stand up there. Sitting is the new smoking. It is. It's the new smoke. Marianne saying it's healthier to stand than sitting. It is, absolutely, which is why we'll have a little break. Irene saying, stand up to lead the dance for the break. Oh, yes. Love you. If you've been here before, you may know that I love to dance. Raj is saying, oh, there's a little competition. There's a prize. Okay. Chara is saying, let's stand up. Let's do an icebreaker. Oh, and Raymond saying, would you stand up, please? Oh, that's also extremely rare. Veronica, and the winner is. Okay, great. Okay. Fantastic. Those are great responses. Let me just screen grab this and I'll put it in the workbook later on. Any guesses what the E and the R stands for? What do you think? And it's really, really common to have way, way more under the R. Emotion and reaction. Good guess, Anna, not quite. Any other guesses? Encourage, not quite. So any other guesses before I tell you? This is a super simple, when you're deep in the thick of trying to change something, you're trying to work on change management, you're trying to affect social change. This is another, more things speak from the heart. Oh, okay, I love that. Okay, it actually, so the R stands for revolution. And the E stands for evolution. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So R, the revolution, is abrupt, in your face, dominant. You see it, it's obvious, it's very, in your face. It's very, very clear. And sometimes it can be abrupt and, all of that. So that's the, trying to try to manipulate me, right? Like there's the fire, the smoke, the spider, spiders and snakes and smoke are very common. people saying, oh, my kids are hurt and I've got to go to the emergency room to see them. So it's all of those kinds of things. So the E, and I know that we're kind of doing an exercise right now. So I know that you wouldn't do this in your day-to-day work, lie about, there being a snake. This is just kind of for fun. But sometimes when I think we're trying to affect change, sometimes we think we have to go really big, really bold, really abrupt. And sometimes it's the evolutionary things that can really help with managing and affecting social change. And what do I mean by evolution? So if you think about a river, now a revolutionary change would be if there's a flood and that river, is a torrent and it's, it's really destroying villages and cities and towns, etc. So that would be a revolution example of a river. An evolution example is if the water flow is relatively consistent, it's relatively stable, that river can move a mountain, but that would take a very long time. So evolutionary change is soft, subtle. It's something that we're not necessarily going to see a difference from day 1 to day 2, but we can produce monumental changes over time. We can move a mountain through the evolutionary change. And the evolutionary change, I've done this with thousands of groups, and most groups, to get 3 under the E, under evolution, is actually really unusual. Normally I get maybe 1. And those are things like, Leanne, is there anything that's preventing you from standing up? Or Leanne, can we stand up together? Things like that. So comments, questions, does that make sense? Such a simple tool, but I think, if we stand back and think, okay, does this need a revolutionary approach or does this need an evolutionary approach? Okay, I don't see any questions, so let me just erase the screen here. Okay, so far we've already done 2, this is not neuroscience, it's not brain surgery, 2 really simple tools. Think about when you're trying to affect change, are you looking at attitude and or awareness? So attitude is that emotional piece, it's the motivation, vision, etc. The values piece, is it awareness? Do we need facts and figures and research? Is it trying to impact behavior? Or change behavior, or is it all of those and you're really looking for a big impact? And then we talked about evolutionary and revolutionary change. Borislav is saying, can you please share an example of when the E or R could work? Oh, sure. So let me just go back. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So I'm just going to pick completely random. I'm going to pick someone's example from the chat. So, Borislav, I just arrived on yours. To encourage the team to embrace new changes to work mode, promote work, etc. Okay, so if that's the change effort that we're trying to affect, we're trying to get the team to be more comfortable with change. A revolutionary, well, you let me know in the chat, what would a revolutionary approach be? That's something big and dramatic and in your face, and it might be something like, next week, we're going to completely overhaul the computer system and install a new, I don't know, and for UN stuff. This might bring up bad memories, but a different version than Emoja. Emoja is as a UN computer system. So something big, big, big. An evolutionary change might be something soft and gentle and very subtle, like maybe at a staff meeting, ask people what their experiences are with change. Sometimes I use peanut butter, or in parts of Africa, we call it ground nuts. So are you smooth, like, I really, bring it on, or are you more chunky ground nut or peanut butter, like, oh, change is hard. So just have a very gentle discussion. David saying evolution, small, consistent changes. Yes. And revolution, big, immediate changes. Yes, that's right, David. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mary. Yeah, so revolutionary change can be a radical change. Big, bold, it's in your face. Dan is saying we'll all be replaced by Chat GPT immediately. yeah. I want to do a workshop. I'm gathering research to do a workshop on AI for the roundtable sometime this year. Helen saying, let's not even joke about Emoja. Yeah, for non-UN people, the Emoja was a massive new computer system adopted by the UN, and it was a little tricky. Yeah. Ellie saying evolution, actions, and change management context can lead to revolutionary reactions if not properly communicated and expectations managed. Yes, good point. So if I think that something is very evolutionary, like this is not a big deal, this is very small, but someone else sees it as revolutionary, radical, big, hairy, oh no, I'm going to pull out my hair, that can cause some conflict for sure. Talby saying sometimes the UN forces revolutionary changes on us, and we have to help colleagues adapt. Yes. Yeah, and some UN agencies and some organizations that aren't UN are very change oriented. They're very used to change, and it's normal. Other UN agencies and other organizations not so much. Then you've got the team culture or your unit or your division. Then you've got your own culture. How are you with change? So it makes it complicated. Dan saying I'm working on that right now too. What are you working on, Dan? I'm not quite sure what that referred to. Alice is saying, does it have to do as well with the extent to which the people affected by change are contributing to or involved in it? Yes. So one of the things that research on health and wellness tells us, it's very clear, is if we don't feel like we're in control and or things are ambiguous, that really, really impacts the change effort. Yeah, absolutely. Good point, Alice. Miriam saying, I find evolutionary change to be more challenging for me to use as it requires more patience and it feels more indirect, which can be problematic when people need to change more swiftly and quickly. Ooh, yes. And think about, it's a great point, Miriam, and also think about, I'm not in any way saying that there's one perfect solution. It's really about, if that's your natural, like revolutionary, big, bold, bring it on, you may wish to think about, you've really identified what the challenges to evolutionary can be for you. You may also wish to identify what are the benefits and the gifts of that. Those types of changes can stick more because there can tend to be more contribution, right? People have been consulted more. So it's not dichotomous, it's both and. Okay, and Marianne saying, in terms of fitness plans, maybe I should choose E instead of R. Yeah, it depends on your personality, right? Some people, can just, dive right into, I don't know, marathon training. Others are like, I know myself, I'm just going to do this just, tiny step by tiny step, and then I'll have a much better chance of succeeding. Yeah, Miriam saying, I also understand that I'm more direct in my communication in general, which can be termed as more masculine. Would you say the evolutionary approach is more feminine, more collaborative, people focused? Oh, possibly. I think it also depends on the culture, right? So the passport country culture, as well as the organizational culture. I haven't done any research into that, so I couldn't say for sure, but I think that's an interesting thing to bring up for sure. Yeah, Borislava, my experience is that teams like the evolutionary approach, as it allows more engagement, consultation, and time to digest the change. Possibly, Borislava, if, for example, just another scenario is if a team has really been wanting a change for a long time, maybe there's a workflow piece that is just not working and it's just been so frustrating. An evolutionary process can be frustrating there, if the team wants, a big dramatic change. So it really can change. Pun intended, depending on what's going on. Okay. I got a great DM. Okay, thank you. Okay, so can we move on? Are you folks okay to go on to the next one? Give me a thumbs up. Just checking I'm used to our 2 hours, so I really want to make sure we stick to our hour and a half, and I really want your opinion about if you prefer 1.5 hours or 2 hours. Helen saying, I think COVID is an interesting case. We all had to rethink our work and how to stay and deliver in a matter of days. Does an external drive count as revolutionary change? Yeah. COVID, definitely revolutionary. Absolutely. Like being able to use Teams and Zoom, and that's the best example of revolutionary change. It happened so quickly, so abruptly, had massive, massive impact. And some people love that, right? They'd never worked from home before. Boom, love it, get to do different things. It's adventurous, it's exciting, and other people's mental health just, and of course, lots of people in between. Okay, so great. Okay, so let's move on. I got a couple of thumbs up there. Great. So let's also talk about a couple of different kinds of change. And one of you already brought this up earlier, but give me a couple more examples of change in the chat. And I'm going to make some annotations here. I'm going to mark on the screen. So give me a couple of examples. You can copy and paste if you want to go back to your earlier one. And I'm going to make an annotation on the screen and see if you can guess what the I and the S stand for. So give me an example of a change. Moving jobs and cities. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm going to put that one here. Thank you, Silver. A leadership change. Oh, I'm going to put that. That's a good one. I'm going to put that in the middle. A new boss. That's got to go in the middle too. Thank you, Borislava. Silver, getting married, having a family. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Alice, say more what you mean about system. I'm not sure what that means. To become a better manager. Oh, lots of ones in between. Improve your fitness goes here. Process change. I'm going to put that one there. Relocation. I'm going to put that there. Organizational restructuring goes here. Health degradation. I'm going to put that there. New team member. Okay. Ooh, that's kind of in the middle. Aging. Oh, that's so good. Marriage. I'm going to put this here, but it probably should be over here. Okay. Casey, getting divorced. Oh, that's going to be in the middle. These are so good. Climate change. That could go in the middle too. Changing the old system. Thanks, Da. That can go there. Yes, Alice. Yes. Oh, these are great examples. And I'm just going to clear those off. And what do they stand for? Individual and structural. So, or systemic. So one of the things that can really get people hung up with change, because let's face it, whatever kind of change you're trying to affect, it's not easy, right? Changing means doing something different, thinking differently, acting differently, having different values, impact, whatever. And sometimes what we try to do, I find, is apply an individual perspective to a structural or systemic issue. And that is a guarantee for burnout. That's a guarantee for burnout. What does that look like? Oh, only I worked harder. I just, things will get better if I just work harder. I just have to be better at this. And it's all on me. And sometimes that is. But if I'm trying to apply an individual frame or perspective to a structural or a systemic issue, then that doesn't work. And I can really not do well, right? Really burn out. And these are two, let me know if you've read either of these books, Who Moved My Cheese or How to Be an Anti-Racist. These books are all about, they don't call it necessarily this, but really they're all about affecting change. And Jal is saying, such a good point. It's about understanding how power works. Yes, individual power and systemic power or structural power. And if you, Silver's read, great, but yes, it is. It's a hard read. Yeah. I'm just writing a blog post on all of the books I read in 2022, and I always include some DEI, some diversity, equity, and inclusion. Another great one is actually I should have put this one in. It's called I Take My Coffee Black by Tyler Merritt. Has anyone seen his viral video? Amazing, amazing. I'll put that in the workbook. If I don't write it down, it doesn't get done. So, and again, learning development, sometimes people message me, where is the workbook? So the learning development members get the workbook. I'll definitely put it in the workbook. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And that, how I Take My Coffee Black, is actually a beautiful blend of individual and structural. So another thing to think about when you're trying to affect change, you're trying, it feels like you're trying to move that boulder, up a mountain. We've already talked about the social outcome, the social change cycle, right? So really targeting, am I trying to change behavior, impact, whatever? Am I looking for some light touches, evolutionary, or am I going big and going bold and it's revolutionary? And then another piece is to really think, is this an individual piece or is this a structural piece? And some of you had issues that were a blend between two, right? Okay. So does that make sense? And I was going to also mention the other, is it there? It's here. The other, I try to read at least one professional development book a month. And then since 2018, all of them I put in my blog. I do a couple blogs and talk about them. And this was another one, Anti-Racist Business Book. I'm guessing this is very structural. Right, it's probably actually, no, it's probably individual things you can do to address structural systemic issues. So I can't comment on the book. I haven't started it yet, but it's February's book and I got to get going. February's already half done. Okay, so how are you doing? We ready for another piece? We've got one more to do and then we'll take a break if that works for you. Give me a thumbs up if you're okay to move on. Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Silver. Silver put do work anti-racist activity book. Okay, I'll put that I'll download that and put it in the workbook as well. Okay. Great, thank you. Yeah, if anyone has other resources, please. This is such a wise group, so please feel free to share them. Okay, so the last piece that we'll do before, just talk a little bit about the membership benefits and then we'll have a break. So the last one is this other piece around kind of getting out of your way and not trying to really simplify things, right? If change is hard enough without us making it even more complicated. So we did this identifying individual and structural or systemic. The other thing is then to add some other continuums, right? So if one continuum is individual and structural, what could some other continuums be? Daw was saying changing the abuse of power. Yeah, so that's definitely it could be individual and structural. Yeah. Thanks, Silver. Okay, so any other ideas? Yes, Marion, short term, long term. Yeah, you're looking for something, I need it to happen quickly or something long term. Any other ones? Because in a moment, ethical and unethical, Rajan. So that is a very interesting continuum. I'm going to hopefully ask that people won't do things unethically to affect change. But sometimes if you're in a conflict zone or something like that, that line can be very, very gray there. But okay, here are some other ones that I've thought of. Emotional, rational. So so it could be like, if we go back to this piece here, it could be attitude. So very kind of emotion, value, vision driven, or very awareness, kind of factual, logical, objective driven. Yeah, I like that one. That's good. Voluntary versus obligatory. Oh, nice. Yes, those are good. And Borislavva, behavior versus factual. Yes. And Malcolm, is it an emergency or can it wait? These are so great. Okay. Oh, greater gain, less harm. Oh, nice, Charity. Okay, so just as we were about to slide into the break in just a couple of minutes, so these are some other continuums, and you may, let me just see if I can grab these. I didn't put them in the, there we go. Okay, so you may want to take note of some of those. There, I've just put them in the chat. And then here comes the magic. Here is a worksheet that I made for you. And once you download this worksheet, you can edit it. Okay, so once you download the worksheet, you have to download it before it becomes editable. And then essentially what you can do is pick one of those continuums. So it might be individual. Well, actually, I put individual and structural on there already. Then you want to add another continuum. So it might be long-term, short-term, quick win, long haul, individual, group, low cost, high cost, private, public, safe versus like, really, really stretching. And then what happens is you put each of those two things together and you get 4 quadrants that you can help, that will help you brainstorm some ideas for change efforts. So let me just pause because I know that's a bit of a mouthful. Does that make sense? Do you need me to repeat it? Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that? So basically, you can download that worksheet and think about your very specific thing you're trying to, the change you're trying to manage, the change you're trying to affect. And then one of the continuums, and you can change that to a different one if you want to, is individual and systemic or structural. And then add another continuum. You can write it in there, and then just have fun brainstorming and just get rid of that little voice, that uninvited guest that says, oh, I could never do that. This is just a fun way to play, right? So most of the ideas that you'll write down you might not be able to use them, do them for whatever reason, but this is just unleashing some creativity, some stress. It's opening some doors to other ways of thinking about change. So don't hold yourself accountable like, oh, if I put this on this worksheet, it means I have to do it. It's just a way of opening up options for moving forward with a change, because change can oftentimes feel like many, many doors are closing instead of many, many doors opening. Okay. Any question? Okay, I got a thumbs up there. Can we move on? I just want to do a quick piece and then we're going to just take a really quick break, like a 5-minute break, and we'll continue. Are we okay to continue? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay. So just quickly before the break, I mentioned at the beginning that every month I give you a survey link to give me feedback. And every month I look at that survey because it helps me design next month's roundtable. It asks for your input on next month's roundtable. And it also, you give me very valuable feedback on what to do more, less, etc. In fact, this experiment of having it 1.5 hours versus 2, it's an experiment because in the feedback, some people are like, oh, we need it longer. And some people are like, oh, we need it shorter. So I'm like, oh, let's try 1.5 hours. So I draw at random someone to win the ban boring, my online ban boring online meetings workshop. So I'm going to announce the winner at the end of the workshop today. But if you want more information about that, it's there. And the survey is there, which you can fill in anytime you wish. And again, just before we break, please, if you are interested in receiving the audio recording, the video recording, the workbook, all of those kinds of things. You get access to 10 plus years of learning and development resources. You do need to be a member, so you can scan that QR code, or you can go into the chat. I've just put the membership link there. And if you find value in what we're doing here together, please send that link, the membership link, to 2 other people. We're always interested in growing our community. So if you find it valuable, please do that. Also, March's roundtable is up. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this. It's one of my, I read this book last year, and it's one of my all-time favorite books I have read in my entire life. And it's all about mindset. And so I'm calling it the #1 skill you didn't know you needed, seriously. And I got a bunch of input last roundtable on topics people wanted. And this was, I think, the highest rated one. So that is next month. And all the dates coming up for the rest of the year are there. Chiara, I'm having a DM. Let's talk at the break, Chiara. I can see there's an issue there. This, by the way, this is my email. I'm putting it in the chat. So if you're not getting emails from me, maybe do a search. It might have gone into spam or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a break. We talked about, stretching, go grab a glass of water, whatever you wish. And we'll be on break for 5 minutes. So I'm going to put a timer on. I'll pause the recording, and we'll see you back in 5 minutes. Thank you, rock stars. Thank you. I'm recording. Okay, welcome back, future selves or current selves. If you just had a break, you're doing great. We are. Oh, Kanjit, I'm just going to mute you there. But if you do have something a question or whatever, feel free to jump in. Okay, so let's continue. I have this website to share with you, and I'm putting it in the chat, and it is an Inc. Resource. So if you don't know that magazine, it's kind of entrepreneurial, business, social change kind of oriented. And it is an article about the best leadership quotes of all time. So take a look at it and see if you can find the big, glaring, ugly thing that is part of that article. So take a look. Someone's just DM'd me. No, putting your email in the chat is not becoming a member. No, so you do need to sign. Just go to, I'll just put it here again. So this is how you become a member. You are so welcome. So it just asks, if you click on that link, it will ask for your name and your email, and then you'll get all the invitations, you'll get the workbooks, you'll get access to 10 plus years of roundtables, etc. Okay, so take a look at that link, and just don't look at it too, how do I not give this away? You don't need to look at it too carefully, but any guesses what the issue is? Any guesses what the issue is? See, my logo is not in the... Any guesses? Take a quick look and see. So Inc. is a really well-established, prominent, well-respected magazine. So any guesses what the problem is? These are supposed to be the 100 best leadership quotes of all time. Any guesses what the problem is? Oh, so Marianne is saying it's missing context. Yeah, that could be. Yes, good guess. Really good guess. So this comes under another, like, really, it's kind of it's a very simple, elegant tool. Oh, Marika's saying group by categories. Oh, kind of. Borislava, focus on the company and not the leadership message. Okay, could be. Would you be surprised if I told you? So when I went through all of those quotes. So I did this roughly, based on, this wasn't a scientific thing, but based on common sense, kind of. Helen's saying there's a couple of problematic ones in there. Yeah. And it's interesting. So no one's guessed it yet. So the issue is, out of these, Anja, yes. So they're not technically all male. Yeah, Anja and Mary Jo. Yes, Marie Jo. Yes, so out of 100, yes, Anna, yes, they're mostly men. Out of 100, only 14 are women, only 14, and 3 are by Eleanor Roosevelt. Of those 14, 3 are by the same woman. Yeah. And that's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. If this is an example, this is supposed to be an example of, the best of leadership. And we're saying that only the voices of only 14 women made it into the all-time best leadership quotes. That's a massive problem around what do we see as good leadership, what does leadership look like, etc. So another very, very effective tool, and it's very simple and it's very complicated at the same time, is to get different views, different perspectives, different cultures, different eyeballs, people with different values looking at this change effort, right? Because you will come to it with a very specific perspective based on your organizational culture, your passport country, your gender, your age, your socioeconomic class, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if we get more diversity involved, then that change effort is going to fit better. It's going to resonate. It's going to last longer. It's just going to be better overall. Borislav's saying, and this is really that leaders have been mostly men until recent times. That's an interesting comment, Borislava. I would say that we have there's been many, many women leaders. We just don't recognize them, right? We don't bring them to the forefront. I was saying 14 only because they're busy doing more important things than sitting right beside. Yeah. So, there's maybe it's the evolution revolution, right? Leading from behind. Yeah. So, but the point, hopefully the point here is to really think about, where are you shining? Where are your strengths, your assets, and your particular subject matter expertise, your culture, et cetera, et cetera? And where could you use some consultations, some collaboration, some input from people that are quite different from you? Okay, make sense? Ready for the next one? Just give me a thumbs up there if you're in. This is such a good group. These comments are great. Okay, good. Okay, so the next one here is Raymond saying, behind these men are even greater women. Well, yeah, possibly. Yeah. Okay, so I put this in the package, the agenda that I sent out. Did anyone get a chance to do this? Did you, so in the agenda, I put, and if you signed up quite late, then you wouldn't have got the agenda ahead of time. Not late, just like close to the time we did it. Maria, you did it. Great. So I have curated, I'm almost at 100 different, I think it's 96 now. Yeah, 96 different songs that have a change component to them. I'll put this in the chat here. And if you're watching this video, all the resources will be down below in the video, in the recorded video. So there's 96 different songs. And if you click on the Spotify list, you will get access to those 96 songs. And what I encouraged you to do is to pick one of them just at random. So pick a number between 1 and 96, and then Google the lyrics to that song. And by the way, the point behind this is support and ideas, for change can come from anywhere, right? Songs are stories set to music, right? And stories about our lives. So I think there's a lot to be gleaned from songwriters, right? From poets. So I made you a Google Sheet. So later on, if you want to do this exercise, if you haven't already, you can pick a song, Google the lyrics, and then see what is the message about change that song is trying to tell you. What is the message about change? And that worksheet will stay there, so you can come back to that. And if you're really stuck on a change effort, just see if a song can give you some inspiration. If you did that, so Maria, way to go. Let me know in the chat, what did you come up with? Just let me know in the chat. And if you haven't done it, you can go back and do that anytime you want, anytime at all. That will stay there. Just taking a look at our time. Maria, and when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me, shining until tomorrow, let it be. There's always hope that things are going to be okay. Even in the most difficult times, we have to think that things always will work out in the end. So that is such a great example, Maria, lovely, lovely example of attitude, right? So we can have all the facts and figures and research, and sometimes it's our attitude that we need to really focus on, ours and other people's attitude to embrace the change. That's beautiful. I love that. It's a great example. If anyone else did it, just feel free to put it in the chat as well. Yeah, and of course, know too that you might listen to the same song and hear a different message, right, based on your perspective. So take the inspiration from other people and the songwriters and add your own. Okay, so let's go into your change personality then. So this, I gave you this in the agenda ahead of time. And this is based, so this is a very quick survey. You can do this now if you wish, you can do it later. Some of you may have already done it. And this is based on the it sounds very shishi, like very formal. And I just made it really simple with these animals. It's the trans theoretical model of change, which I really, really love. Oh, Marian's saying a Swat song called Shine Like a Star. Come on and shine, shine, shine like a star, shining so bright like the star that you are. Oh, shine into the future, spreading your light wherever you are. Great. And what do you take from that, Marianne? What's the change? What's the tip that we can take from managing change from that? To me, it sounds a bit similar, like it's really about, it's a little bit similar. It's about our attitude. So we're talking now back about the change songs here. So it's partly about our attitude, and also, and mindset, Marianne. Yeah, and also knowing your strengths and your gifts and what you have to offer the world, your team, your family, your community, like really being aware of where is it that you shine and focusing on those things, like really being asset-based. Lovely. Nice. Good job. Jal, Kanye is stronger. He's not a great person. Oh, okay. I don't know about that. But his lyrics work for me. Work it, make it, do it. Make us harder, better, faster, stronger. Now that don't kill me can only make me stronger. Yeah. So what I take from that is a bit of resilience, right? That, we go through hard times, and if we make it through those hard times, some of us can come out, stronger and more resilient. Oh, these are great. And also, I don't know if I'm not on that page right now, but please copy this into the worksheet, because you're coming up with really great things, and you may want to bookmark that tab, or it will be in the bookmark, or it will be in the workbook for members. You can always come back to that, add it, use it for inspiration. Paulina saying, oh, the wind of change. Oh, I listened to the most interesting podcast about that song. So there's this whole, you can Google it. There's this whole theory, this whole podcast series about that maybe the CIA wrote that song. Like it's mind-blowing. Anyways, so Paulina said, the wind of change blows straight into the face of time, like a storm wind that will ring the freedom bell for peace of mind. And she's saying change that is unavoidable and hopefully freeing. Oh, nice. So about if you're facing a change that you don't have a choice with, that's a whole other kind of change. And how do you, can you find some freedom in that? Yeah. Maine is saying, for me, it's hard disconnecting the artist from the artistic production. Ah, okay. Yeah. My youngest son is in film school, I tell you, it's fascinating being a parent of a film student because you look at films in whole other ways now. And I've asked him that. I'm like, can you just watch a film now? And he's like, yeah, no, not really. He's busy looking at all different things. So, okay. So this may not be as useful for you, but hopefully for other, take your inspiration where you can get it there. Okay. So back to this change personality. So again, I base this on the trans theoretical model of change. And why I love that model so much is because oftentimes with change, we focus on the actual change, like we've got to do this, we've got to do it now, and we don't focus on the steps leading up to that. So let me just put this in the chat again. And if future you are watching this in the video, the recorded video, it will be down, all the links down below. So this is a survey that I made up. The trans theoretical model of change does not talk about armadillos. that's my piece, trying to make it simple. So when you take that survey, if you choose to, you may self-assess as a turtle. And turtles are in the pre-contemplation phase. And by the way, you will probably find ease and comfort and strength in whichever 4 of these that you self-assess. And of course, you can change too. It doesn't mean that you're one all the time in every situation. But there's probably one that you're a little bit more comfortable with. So you may be more oriented to look to the strengths of that particular animal. Also know that there are strengths and downsides to each of these, right? So you may want to find friends and colleagues, et cetera, that have a different model than you. So going back to that leadership piece, right? Like that, we want to get as many. We don't want to come at this with a very narrow view. We want to open and broaden that view. I was saying, sorry, I took the survey, but it gave me, yeah. So thank you for bringing that up, Alice. Don't worry about the percentage. You just need to look at the numbers that you picked. So if you picked mostly ones, and by the way, if you right click, you can download the answer key there. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, you can't get SurveyMonkey to not give you a percentage, but it's about the numbers that you picked. Okay, so our turtles are our pre-contemplation phase. And by the way, this all comes from the answer key, so you can look into this more. There's a little bit of advice for each of these different types. You can take this with your team, with your family, with your organization, and I think the survey should also have a link to a blog post to find out more information. Okay, so armadillos, if you picked mostly 2s, you're in the contemplation phase. So you're starting to think about making a change, not doing anything yet, but you're starting to think about it. If you pick mostly 3s, you're in the preparation phase. So you're getting ready. You're a duck, right? You're getting ready. And if you picked mostly 4s, you're in the action phase. So dive in and away you go. And again, you may be tempted to judge the different types that you aren't, but no, each of these types have their good days and have their bad days. So you may wish to seek out some people that have different types than you. Okay, comments, questions? Let me know in the chat if you know your type. Do any of you know, or can you guess? Are you a turtle, like really need a long lead up time to change, really good at seeing all the potential things that could go wrong, need a lot of kind of convincing. Oh, so Ranjan, don't worry about the percentage. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up again. You just want to look at the numbers that you picked. So the drop down menus, you can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. So you want to make note of the number that you chose. So if you pick mostly 1s, pick mostly 2s, 3s, 4s, etc. Maria, I'm afraid I'm an armadillo. So there's no judgment, right? Armadillos are great at, so I don't remember the name of the beer, but somewhere in, I think it was Belgium, don't quote me, they designed this new beer that took half the amount of time to make, took half the amount of money, to produce, and it was a total failure, probably because they had tons and tons of dolphins, and they didn't have any turtles or armadillos. What do you think the problem could be with this beer? So it took half the amount of time to make, took half the amount of money to make, but it was a total failure. Why? And armadillos and turtles would not make this mistake. Not stigma. Good guess though, Alice. What could be wrong with the beer? What's important in a beer? Yes, Jal, it tasted terrible. So, the dolphins, like, let's just dive in and do it, right? This is a dolphin on a bad, so a dolphin on a good day, let's try it, let's experiment, woohoo, let's go. A dolphin on a bad day is very innovative, makes a beer that can be made and half the price, half the time, etc. But it tasted terrible. So it was not a good, it was not a success. So all of these have their pros and all of these have their cons. So please don't feel like, oof, oh, I'm an armadillo and that's a problem, right? It's only a problem if you let it be a problem, right? Marianne, good guess, the quality of ingredients. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was the ingredients, right? If it didn't taste good. Okay, we have one more piece to do before we finish. May I have your permission to move along to the last one? Is that okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Okay, our last one then, thank you, is your grit score. Did anybody do this ahead of time? This was in the agenda for those of you who got the agenda ahead of time. Yeah, this blew my mind. So this was one of my favorite books this a couple years ago. Like all-time favorite, so good. And really talks about our, how our reaction, I'm not saying this very well, let me rewind. Our reaction when things don't go well, when we don't succeed, when things go sideways, our reaction to that is a huge indicator for our overall success, as well as our ability to manage and deal with change. So, and what we call that is our grit or our resilience. And you can actually measure that. So in this survey, you will get a percentage. So the maximum you can get is 100%, which is very gritty. And the minimum is, the lowest you can get is 20. And as of October 2022, the average grit scores of all of the participants that have taken that survey was 75%. Good for you, Bratislava and Maria. And if you get a low score, please don't, berate yourself, because grit is something that you can increase. You can absolutely increase your grit. And by the way, grit is not about, I really don't want you to go away from this thinking, I got to work 24/7. I can never give up. I can't rest. I don't have time to eat. I got to, climate change, the world is burning. I don't have time. It's just an emergency. Like, that's not grit. That's an unhealthy, unbalanced thing that's going to lead to burnout. So it's not about quitting. Sometimes quitting is the best decision. But overall, how resilient are you? Do you give up at the very whiff, or you don't even try? Because at the very whiff of like, oh, this might not work, right? The research tells us that if we can get that score up, if we can learn like, okay, didn't work, I'm going to give myself some time to just feel sucky, and I'm going to try something different. I'm going to get some help. I'm going to take a rest, and then I'm going to do it differently. Alice is saying maybe it's good to take the temperature of where you're at in terms of energy and grit at some moment. Yeah. So grit is like overall, right? It's not about powering through if you're exhausted and burnt out and angry, upset, It's overall what your reaction is, right? Do you give yourself permission to feel bad about something that didn't work out, but then you try again, right? You get back up and you're okay. I've learned from what happened. Didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. I've learned something, and now I'm going to go forward again. Okay, David got 50. Yeah, so the Edward got 83.3. Maurice got 77.5. Yeah, and I think there should be a blog post attached to that in the results, so you could click on that for more information. Malcolm saying, what about change fatigue? Yeah, being burnt out from too much change. Yeah. So that's more geared towards that health and wellness, work-life balance, knowing, balance, right? That's a tricky term, but knowing what restores you, what when you're feeling down, when you're having a really hard time, what makes you feel better, right? For some people, it's quiet, contemplative. It might be a spiritual, religious piece. It might be meditation. Other people, it's hit the dance floor. I want to be social, be with friends. Like what works for you because we've all been through this incredibly difficult time with the pandemic, and times are not easy. Good question, Malcolm. Thank you. Raymond got 70%. Ellie's saying I got 87.5, but with a bit of subjectivity, it's very difficult to be objective. Oh, about your own self when it comes to evaluation. Yeah, you may wish to get someone else that knows you well, a colleague or a family member, to take it on your behalf and see what score they get. I love that you brought that up. That's a great comment, Ellie. Thank you. Raymond, Libras don't choose extreme choices. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are Ellie's saying if you get someone else to take it on your behalf, they will be so kind to you. Yeah, you have to be, maybe if you say them, like, I really want you to be open and honest. And I appreciate, by the way, another topic I'm designing a brand new, like from scratch workshop coming up on is giving and receiving feedback. Hands down, one of the best books I read in my entire life. I read this last year, and phenomenally good book. So that will be coming up. And it talks about, one of the things it talks about, Ellie, is how some people are reluctant to give, they don't want to hurt our feelings, blah, blah, blah. So you can maybe set the tone for that. Okay, so I want to give you, a high five, a high 10, actually, high 10. We've done a lot of work, a lot of thinking, like really hard, maybe not hard, but like, concentrated thinking about change and different ways to focus on change, different types of change, your change personality, your resilience quotient, right? The last one we just did, simple tools that will help you get out of hopefully looking at things, very narrowly, and really open up and give you more options and choices. You've got that grid to really put another continuum on there and really brainstorm and really have fun with it, right? And don't think that, just because I put it on that grid that means that I have to do that. And again, if you are a UN staff, you can count this towards your UN mandated training. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this was an experiment today, because normally our roundtables are 2 hours long. So you should be able to see a poll on your screen. And I would love to get your feedback. Please pick one. So if 1.5 hours was too short, and you prefer 2 hours, or 1.5 hours was just right, or if 1.5 hours was too long. So please just give me your feedback there. And also let me know in the chat. Raymond saying, I put that topic as a suggestion for a new session. Which topic, Raymond? Let me know. I'm not sure what you mean there. Let me know there.
The feedback session.
Okay. I'm so excited about designing that. Like, yeah, it was such a fantastic, it's written by some Harvard profs. You're so welcome, Jal. Sorry, Jal, I think I've said that twice. Sorry, Jai. I know someone named Jill. Okay, what do you want to remember from today? And is there anything that I can clarify? So let me know what do you want to remember? You invested this time in yourself. What popped for you? What do you want to remember? Let me know in the chat. Thank you to those who filled in the poll. I'll leave it up just for another minute there while you digest your time today. I have a couple suggestions for you. So you've done the hard work of showing up and carving out this time. I really would love for you to apply and like really use your learning. So you may wish to work on that change grid, that downloadable worksheet, and really use it to brainstorm some other ideas. Please share the tools. The more, the merrier. If you found them helpful, happy for you to share them with your friends and colleagues. And you may wish to actually find out some of your colleagues, your friends, what are their change personalities, their grit scores, etc. Okay, we've got some stuff coming in here. Ali's saying, don't sit back and wait for change to come my way. It may wash you away like a wave. Take your surfboard and chase the wave of change. Woo! Nice, nice, nice. It's very poetic. Ali's saying, very interesting learning and self-reflecting moment, particularly on how we might apply individual lens to systemic change. Yeah. Yeah, associating that with burnout. Yeah, if we think it's my fault, when actually the system is just making it very challenging or impossible. Only an individual change versus systemic change. Yeah, I see so many people applying an individual lens to something that is truly systemic. Malcolm, change is in the air. Marianne, also, if you don't change, the window of opportunity may close. Yes, yes. That's what dolphins are great at. They tend to not miss those opportunities. Maria, thank you very much for this interesting session. We just have to apply now what we learned today. Yeah. Okay. So as you move forward, I'm going to close that poll. Let me just, I'm just going to take a screenshot here. Okay. Okay. Oh, Anja, be inspired to change by music or poetry. Yeah. Marie Jo, grit score. I will investigate further. Also, the overall change cycle we saw at the beginning. Yeah. Okay, lovelies. I want to congratulate. Oh, Helen's going to do it with her team. Great. Good, good, good. Ranjan is saying 3. Help me understand, Ranjan, what 3 was. I'm not sure what that means. Congratulations. I don't know if she's on the call today, but Marcielle is the winner of this month's Ban Boring Online Meetings. That means that she filled in the survey last month. I'll put that link again in the chat. So this is the survey that you get to give me feedback, telling me what you want more of, less. You also, I specifically ask for ideas for the next month's topic. So it's super, super, super helpful to me. And I realize you have many, many things on your plate. So as a show of gratitude, I always draw one person every month to win the Ban Boring Online Meetings course. Okay. Thanks, Raj. Okay, and in closing, again, here are some links. If you do want to get the recording, the audio recording, the visual recording, audio, visual, and I timestamp the video, which looks like this. So if you haven't seen a timestamp video, you just click on the portion that you're looking for and whoop, it'll take you specifically to that point in the video. You get the workbook, etc. You just need to make sure that you're a member. And I know I have 2 people to look up. No, I think Denise, yeah, you wouldn't have got it if you just signed up today. You'll start getting stuff. And then Chiara, I'll look in the back end for what's going on there. And if you, and then there's also the UN attendance sheet. So if you are a UN staff and you want to get credit for this towards your annual mandated training, make sure that you sign in on that attendance sheet. All the upcoming dates are in the chat there. And our next one is March 16th, Mindset, the #1 skill you didn't know you needed. So I'm going to look, we'll see if it's going to be 2 hours or 1.5. I'll look at the poll results and I can change that if we need to. And finally, second to last thing, if you would like to contact me about working with your team on team building, on tech tools or training of trainers, please feel free to reach out. I would love to chat with you. And very last thing, please, on the count of 3, unmute. Please unmute and say goodbye to everyone and wish them well. So 1, 2, everyone unmute, 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 unmute. 1, 2, 3.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well done.
Cheers.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening,
Good evening.
good night, wherever you are.
Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
stay well, and don't forget to learn, laugh, and lead. Hope to see you next month, everyone. Bye-bye.
Wow.